Okay, so I've just jointed all them outside lights now with the click flows. So I'm going to take all these internal tube lights down now because they have failed their R1, R2 readings. So I stopped the testing there and I'm just going to do the repairs first and then redo the testing again. Plus I've changed the board now as well, so we need to update with this schedule here has changed now. So as I've shown you before, blind floor sockets in there had all them FCUs controlling it. Now it's got its 3 sets of RCBOs doing the 4 sets of RCBOs. So you've got 3 floor sockets and then 1 blind circuit. So there's an extra 3 RCBOs in the board now. So this schedule here is descriptions are going to change anyway, but this is this condition report, the unsatisfactory condition report that I'm looking at here at the minute. So I'm going through it a bit at a time and repairing. So the highlighted column there is lights. So the R1, R2 there, it was greater than 2000. So I took the end of the line down of this circuit and I got no earth continuity reading. So the external spotlights are on the same circuit as this circuit in here. So I'm going to take all these light fittings down now, remake all the connections off with them. I think I might use them click flows because there's joints in the ceiling. I'll show you. So this is behind the fittings here, so it's been stripped right back. All this basic insulation was stuffed into the ceiling, which isn't how it's done. So yeah, all that was just coiled up at the top. All this basic was coiled up at the top. And then in here you can see the connector block has been like pulled out of shape. You can see there an earth is even out of that one. So this is the first one I've taken down. You got a damaged bit of insulation there where it's been trapped. The earth is in properly, and if you do tuck all these cables down the side of the ballast, you've got the risk of overheating and damaging the cables and becoming brittle, or snagging them on these screws when you know, on them screws there that come into the fittings, catching neutrals, lives, earths, you know, on them as well. So yeah, it's just poorly made off. So we've got a click flow plug now. I've cut a little bit of a section out the ceiling, just slightly bigger, so the flow plug will just go up nicely out the way. And then there's this one tidy flex that will come into the fitting. So I'm going to do that with all of them. Before I put the fittings back up, I'm going to get some readings on this and make sure that we've got earth and the R1 at the end of the line. The R1, R2 is okay. Right, so I've dropped all the light fittings now in here, 7 of them. So we've done the joints, and then I've cut a hole a little bit bigger so we could get the click flow up there with plenty of slack, and then I'll tuck the flex up there as well, and that'll come out and just go to the light fitting. There'll be less strain on the connections because it's a flex as well, rather than all these copper trying to come in and connections come in and go out of just a kind of poxy little cheap push fit. I mean, these aren't anything glamorous. You know, these aren't the best quality push fit connectors I've seen. So you've got to say you've got main, you know, live neutral earth in, live neutral earth out, and you're reliant on that connection and the light fitting to be put up correctly. All the fitting, the majority of these, you know, definitely the earth's popped out on a few of them. Some of the lives and neutrals are hanging on by a thread. So that's why we were getting an earth, no earth at the end of the line. And we've got 2 ends of line here as well. So we've got one there, one there. Then we've got end of line outside as well on the spot. So we've got 3 ends of line on this circuit that we need to take readings from. So we're doing a Lutron RA2 system here. So you can't really see the spotlights there, but there's a row of spotlights in there. So here's the Lutron module inline relay added onto these connections here. So the supply comes into here from inside and then switch live out all the way down to there. So that's the external spots which will be lighting up this pathway, and then we've got these bollards here as well, which we've got on the Lutron system. So we've got a Pico in here which is going to be activating the bollards and the spotlights, and there's a Pico inside the house as well for switching as they come out of the house or switching as they come in and out of here as well. So there was a cable missing. Well, there was no switch cables, it's just a power supply to this, so there was no way of switching these lights on and off from the house. So this has given us the ability to do that with the wireless radio switching. He had some sort of key fob before that was like had receivers that went one under there and one over there, kind of like what we've done, but they were just they weren't very good anyway. They weren't very good. Plus he had loads of issues with these lamp bollards anyway. So we've got lots of Picos, one in the house, one in here. We've got a module for the outside spots, and then we've got a module here for the bollard spots. So the bollards were wired to here originally into like a back of a double socket. So we've got this now. So we've got an FCU for double pole isolator in here. You've got the armoured cable comes through there for the spotlights outside, and then we've just added it onto this was a ring here anyway, so we've just done an FCU off the ring with a 5 amp fuse in it, and then this is the Pico which this is the inline 6 amp relay that controls the bollards outside. So if we wanted to, we can switch the bollards and we can switch the spotlights separately, because there's 2 separate inline relays. So if he wanted to just have the bollards on the switch, he can, or he control the spotlights from his phone separately on a dusk till dawn sensor, he can, or he can add an extra Pico in here and he can have bollards, spotlights. You know, you've got all the flexibility. You can do whatever you want with it once we've installed it, as long as you've got all the inline relays, enough of them separating all the lighting zones. You can chop and change it and do whatever you want with it. Right, so we've got the lights on now. You can see this a little better now. So if I go on the Lutron app, you can see you've got the conservatory switch, and then you've got the conservatory is one label, man cave is another, which is what we've called the external building. So the cove lights are the spotlights in the soffit, and the external lights are the bollards. So we've got both of these sets of lights linked to both switches, but we can still control them independently. So if we go on external lights, toggle that on and off, yeah, and then independently, and then cove lights, toggle that on and off. So these are just relays, not dimmers. And then if we go on the conservatory, so as if we were touching the conservatory switch off, I've got this program so both modules are switched with 1 Pico. Yep, and they go on the light Pico for the inside is outbuilding as well. So it just acts, Picos act as a 2-way switch in this case, and when we've got 2 separate supplies running to 2 separate places, it gives you the ability to tie the 2 together and bring everything on together, or control them independently on a dusk till dawn setting, or gives you a lot of flexibility for everything.